So in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how I made sort of like an X-ray see the bones through the leg. So first what you're going to need to do is you want to go and make a new layer. You're going to make a solid. It will be a black solid. And you can find it under layer, new, solid, change the color to black. And then from there, we are going to then you want to feather the edges because it's not going to be just a hole. It's going to be sort of like a gradual sink into the leg. I find it looks better with a feather. I'm very fond of feathering. Once you made the black hole, what you want to do is you want to track it to the leg because it will be quite difficult otherwise to make it look realistic. Um, and for this, I used Mocha. Mocha is sort of like a separate software plugin that Maya has, and it's really handy. All you have to do is buy Mocha or have it on a lab already installed, and you just track a certain point. I tracked a fold in his leg, and then you just all you have to do is then attach that to a null object, which you can see above my black solid, and that then is the tracking data, so that way the black stays stuck to the leg and it looks realistic. You've made your tracking data, you import it into the null object as you have done, and you want to parent that null object. You want actually the black solid parented to the null object. That way the black solid will move along with the null object's tracking data. After you've done that, oh, and you can parent it with a little squiggly, or you can go on the right hand side to where it says parent under the drop box and choose null data and black solid. Once you've parented it, you want to make sure you turn the anchor point off. I forget exactly why, but it has something to do with not letting the tracking data do its tracking path. So make sure it's not anchored down. Anchors are bad, they weigh you down. Now that you've done that, you want to now add the bones in. And these are a bit of a hassle because mostly it was hard to make them look like bones. What I ended up doing was just going into Illustrator and making a wireframe model and then making a bone marrow kind of model and importing those. um, and if you don't know Illustrator, it's not that difficult to use. You can use Photoshop. You can find actual bones. Those weren't really handy for me. So as you can see, this is my wireframe model. Beautiful, disproportionate, but it looks sort of like a bone. And what I did with that, to make it blue and to make it look kind of bony, was I actually made a whole new composition layer. And this is the other bone. This is the leg bone. And all I did was I imported my image, a colorful one, and then I imported my wireframe, and in my wireframe I added a cyan. We decided to make it blue. I added a cyan blue solid underneath it, and to that solid I changed the track matte to alpha, and uh, and I selected the top bone, which is the file called. Once I've done that, I did the same thing basically for the bottom bone on a different composition layer, because in the end I want these both to move separately, and if I had them in the same composition they would both move together. So I also added a mask onto the composition layers, each of them, so that way they wouldn't have hard edges, they would feather as well, because as you see, as I turn the feather on and off, it goes to a really sharp edge, really bright, and and then the other option is it looks like it's coming, like that black hole in the leg, it's sort of fading through the leg. And that's sort of the look we wanted, like you're looking through the leg, you're looking through. And I did the same thing for the other composition layer, I feathered it. Once I had both the layers as I liked them, I made sure I parented them all to the null object. That way they would all move together with the black hole. And you can, as I did here, I changed the parents. And you'll notice I have two composition 3s. That's just because that bone was just a little bit too transparent, so I added another one. and I just parented it to itself so that way it would move in time with its other counterpart. And once I had got them as I wanted them, I rotated them so that way, because we were showing the bones are misaligned, and this is a bit extreme right here. I'm extremely rotating it to show you that I'm rotating it and how I'm doing it. In the real movie, we didn't rotate it nearly as much, but so yeah, all I did was I pressed the stopwatch, which is adding keyframes, so that way between each keyframe, it will slowly go from one motion that you selected to the other. So as you see, it's slowly twisting because I told it start from this degree and then by this X number of frames, twist this many degrees. And in the end, everything moves as it's supposed to, and it doesn't move where it's not supposed to. It's beautiful enough. Um, there's a couple things I wish I would have done, but for the purposes of this project and my sanity, this is complete. I hope you learned something. Thank you. Have a good day.